This is awesome. We have 10 people in production now. Welcome, Adam. I think you've met everybody by now. And we have 9 of the 10 here. Oh, no, 8 of the 10, because you're not really in production anymore. You're not in production. So we're missing Kelly and Brady. So 2 videos, fantastic. Also, I sent out a survey that most of you have completed by this time. You didn't see it. You're not on right yet. You didn't get it. But it's asking more or less what you guys want to see, what kind of updates during these meetings, what will be most beneficial to you guys. I'm taking all that information. I'm trying to figure out what is the most common variable there and an easy way for me to calculate it. Because if I have to spend 2 hours every time preparing for one of these meetings, it's not that realistic. So I'm trying to come up with something that's common amongst most of you guys and relatively easy to calculate. So that was one question. The second question was, what are 5 things that a teammate can do to make your job easier, more or less? And I kind of wish that I did this a long time ago, because the answers are super interesting. There's some common themes in there, and there's some wild cards in there, and it's all awesome stuff. So I'm really happy we're doing this, and I'm gonna try to put certain things in every single meeting we have that I think are really, really important. So it's not just stuff that's gonna make you excel here or make your teammates like you better here, but stuff that you can also take home or take to your next job or whatever else. So like these types of things I'm really gonna hammer on because we're more or less only as good as our worst employee, right? If I hire somebody new, no pressure, Adam. If you're not as good as everybody else, the entire team goes backwards. If you're better than everybody else, the team's gonna get better. So that's really what we want to do here, right? Keep hiring and pushing the team to get better and better and better. If you're not as good as everybody else, I'm gonna show you the things you need to do to get better than everybody else so you can keep raising the bar. So these are fundamental things for a growing business long-term to be successful. If you go the opposite direction, you're gonna put yourself out of business. So KPIs for right now, I'm just going to talk about the stuff I've been talking about the last couple meetings. Backorder list. Backorder list last Tuesday. Does anybody remember 2? That's what I thought. I didn't want to quote myself on camera. Landon says it was 2 last week. It is 2 right now. So this is fantastic. Jeff's build, once he completes that, will be one of them. And that one over there that Russell built a couple weeks ago and just didn't box up, as soon as that's boxed up, I can mark it as complete to be off the backorder list. So we are right there. And then MOM inventory. MOM is our operating system. I'm looking at the number of units we have in MOM and prioritizing based on that. Right now we have 355 units in MOM. I think it was 320-ish, somewhere around there last week. So 355. It's fantastic. We're right there. The goal is right around 400. And 400 is based on 2 weeks worth of inventory on every single SKU. So we're 50 units away. Problem is, if we have 2 weeks worth of inventory on every single SKU on there, I'm gonna steal it, I'm gonna send it all to Amazon the day that happens. So the shelves will be empty again. So that's a good problem, that's what we wanna do. We've talked about before, one of our goals is Amazon sales. As soon as I put that stuff on Amazon FBA, it disappears. So the more I can put there, the more we will sell. We'll reach the goal, everybody will be happy. So that's where we are in the current KPIs. It's going well. Quality, Hannah and Kelsey are still checking it on a regular basis. Somebody asked for the quantity of bad, I think it might have been Karina. She wanted to know like the percentage of bad parts, or like did we have 50 that were sent back. It's a good thing, and I had no idea what the quantity was, and I looked at the spreadsheet today, and there's not much to report, which is a really good thing, right? It's onesies, twosies, and on those onesies, twosies, Hannah can go into more detail on this if you need it, but Connor had a build last week that Hannah caught. It had a bend vert.
Yeah.
So the top corner of the vert was bent in a little bit, and I'm not sure if it was an obvious thing. I didn't actually see it myself.
Yeah,
I
we
just
see them
pulled
like
it
the
up.
glare.
I only caught it because the locking cover wasn't sliding, and then when I looked, it was glared. But
Okay.
that's the only way you could really see it.
So top corners of the verts, if they get bent, the locking cover is probably not going to function as well as it would if it was perfect. So really oddball thing. Most people aren't necessarily going to catch it, and I caught that. Look for that sort of thing. The other thing that keeps on getting brought up is the quality of the pre-cut components. So it looks like over the last week it's gotten better, but I know Justin made a comment about it in his report thing. Rodolfo made a comment about it in his survey thing. If they're going over on the shelf not completely deburred, there's a potential of them getting scratched. The idea of those things is they're absolutely perfect. When you pull it off the shelf, it's good enough to send to a customer. So everybody doing pre-cut components, you have no idea if you're doing it right or wrong unless you get this kind of feedback. So it sounds like it's gotten better because we talked about this last meeting. But something to keep an eye out for is make sure they're clean, make sure they're deburred, ready to go. And then also on the component list, there's a comment regarding flap wrap strips not being put on perfectly. And the comment was more or less, if these things are not perfect, they're creating more time for the builder rather than less time for the builder because they have to fix certain issues that they didn't necessarily know about. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think it's an epidemic, but again, if we don't talk about it, we don't know what to look for. So continuous improvement, that's the whole reason we're talking about this now. And then as far as what a lot of people commented about is making a good teammate. Like what makes the team better? What makes the work environment better? What makes you more efficient? What makes you less crabby when you come into work or leave work? That sort of thing. And the theme that I want to talk about this week is also something that kind of drives me nuts. I probably have old roommates who wish I was a different person back then than I am now, but the concept that I would like to deliver is be a good roommate. If you borrow dishes and you eat off of them, wash them, right? If you fill up the trash can and it's overflowing, take the trash out. That sort of thing. So a lot of you made a comment about cleanliness, cleaning up after yourselves. Be a good roommate. So my wife had to teach me that one. If you make a mess, if you drop something, pick it up, throw it away. One thing that's a pet peeve of mine is these metal racks over here. Most of them are either wrapped in plastic or paper of some sort. If you guys are pulling out sticks to do some processing on something, take that piece of paper or that wrapper that fell on the ground or is still in the bundle, throw that away, right? So you're only going to treat the place as well as it looks. If it looks like a dump, you're going to treat it like a dump. If it looks awesome, you're not going to be the person that made the mess. So again, continuous improvement, it only gets better. So Connor, I think we talked about this 3 weeks ago. You more or less made yourself a running ticket on, I think it's Tuesdays and Fridays to clean up. The place looks fantastic. I don't know how many times I've walked in and commented to whoever will listen about how good the place looks. So thank you for doing that. That's awesome. But this doesn't fall on one person. So if everybody cleans up after themselves, the place is going to look even better. So be a good roommate, leave it better than you found it, do your dishes when you get home, take the trash out. That's really all I got for you guys today. Any of you guys have questions? Hannah, do you have any input?
Nope.
Yeah. I saw that on the Hangouts you said on the Goes we're doing all good except for the Amazon one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because we don't have enough in stock for them, or?
So yeah,
Or there's just not enough orders?
The goals, it's a tough thing to talk about with the production crew because you guys aren't using Wrike the same way as people in the office are. So we have a couple different things. We have value points and time points. For Q1, it seems really fundamental that if the goal is 750, if we do 65,000, somewhere around there a month, we'll hit the goal, right? Well, the problem is if we look at how much we sold in January and we sold 35,000, well, that extrapolates out to 400K, somewhere around there. We're off base massively, right? But if we're building a system that will get better over time, it's not fair to judge it equally every single month because Hannah's been doing a ton of work on getting the product descriptions, the images, new SKUs on Amazon. Well, we know that because she's adding stuff, we will have a better February than we did January because there's more products. So the way that we're measuring it is value points. So Nick and I kind of categorize certain things and weight it based off how much we think it's going to move the needle. So Nick associates a value point with a dollar value, and we know that we're on pace whether or not we hit the number of value points. Well, we're falling short on the Amazon goal. That's basically because Nick and I have not queued up enough tickets for projects like Hannah's doing to move the needle. So Nick and I know that we need to manage it better and throw more projects in the Amazon queue, or we don't think we'll hit the number. That's where that's coming from. Come Q3, Q4, we'll know a lot better about actual dollars, if that's making sense, but right now it's kind of a gray area. So we need to throw more manpower at improving our Amazon listings. Any other questions?
Out of curiosity, when you do quality control and you find something wrong with one of our builds, are we like, is there a tally that like goes on our name or something in the spreadsheet?
There is a spreadsheet that says the specific build and the builder and the date and what's wrong with it, whether it's across all 6 or it's only one of the 6. All of that is covered in the spreadsheet. So
That's something we could have access to eventually, or like on a regular, like every 3 months we get to see what we messed up.
yeah, we could probably do that, and I could also, I mean, that thing's super easy to filter and sort. If you had a question, I could filter it in 20 seconds, or Hannah could filter it in 20 seconds.
Probably not enough in it right now, but maybe
Yeah,
a
it's-
couple months down the road or something, we could all like take a look at it and figure out how we can improve.
Yeah,
Might
for
be
sure.
helpful to know how we're messing up.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's a really funny thing. We probably should have been doing this months ago, because I don't want to speak for Hannah, but I assume that when you first started doing this, you were finding a bunch of stuff. And now looking at the spreadsheet, there's very few things that she's actually finding.
Yeah, it's going down every day. Like I find less and less every day. So
This is awesome, and a lot of the quality stuff that Hannah's finding is not necessarily the builder's fault. So yesterday we kind of had an issue with screws in packets. So this is not, if you guys are grabbing a packet off of a shelf, I would like it if you looked at every single one, but I don't expect you to be able to pick up on a 1/4 inch different in 4 of the 8 screws that are actually in there, and I don't want to throw 30 minutes more on each build. So there's some confusion there. Hannah caught it, fixed the problem. This is not something that's going against your build. That sort of thing. So yeah, super easy information to get whenever. Any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, guys.